What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I'm Jess, and today's video is a recap or summary of my experience tracking total carbs versus net carbs for the month of August. So for those of you that are new to my channel, or you're just now catching this, for the month of August I spent every week tracking total carbs, 20 total carbs in a day. I put out the meal plan of what I was eating, and then we all joined in and did this together. I personally have lost 125 pounds tracking net carbs throughout my whole journey. So essentially the last 17 months of my journey, I tracked net carbs, but I had never done a total carb or 20 total carb or less per day way of eating. So I wanted, for the month of August, I thought, hey, you know what a great challenge. Let's see what happens, and then let's make a video on all the results. So, but first things first, I just want to say I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. This entire channel is based off my own experience living with a ketogenic lifestyle and rewinding my health that way. You do you, talk to your own doctor. And the second thing is, if you like videos like this, be sure to leave a comment. And also hit that subscribe button down below. YouTube is no longer emailing you a notification when I pop a video. So the best way to get a notification is hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss a video. This way it lets me know you want to see more videos like this. So what do you say we dive into the good stuff? So like I said, I tracked total carbs for the month of August. I was in New Hampshire at my camp at the beginning of the month. So we traveled from New Hampshire to Texas, I think it was week 2, and we ate on the road that day. And then there was bloat and there was yuckies that came along with that. So I just want to put a little disclaimer in that whole process. Remember, I was traveling, I was still on vacation at the beginning of the month. But the point is, you can do anything. There is no perfect time. So yeah, I was on vacation. Yeah, we were traveling, but that doesn't mean you get to throw everything away. So I hopped right back on track the minute we got home. So anyways, for the new folks that are wondering what's the difference between net carbs and total carbs, well, total carbs minus any sugar alcohols, minus the fiber, minus like allulose and a few other things. But the main thing is total carbs minus sugar alcohols minus the fiber gives you the net carbs. And traditional ketogenic lifestyle, you will stay under 20 net carbs a day will get you into the state of ketosis. So tracking total carbs means you don't subtract anything. It's literally the total. So you get 20 of those a day. So the difference between the two approaches was pretty big and pretty eye-opening. So we're gonna go over net carbs first. If you track your net carbs, which is 20 or so net carbs a day, that means you have way more flexibility, the food flexibility that is, and you have a lot more forgiveness and wiggle room with that. You have a variety of food that you can eat in this way. You can use more packaged or pre-packaged items that give you, hey, this is 2 net carbs for this bar, or or a shake or something like that. There's a lot more wiggle room for that kind of stuff when you track when you're tracking net carbs. So I found it to be less restrictive to use a net carb approach. When you don't have to account for the sugar alcohols, the fiber, and everything else that makes up the carbohydrate, you're getting way more wiggle room. So now that also allows for more snacks, more treats, more keto recipes, more dairy, more, that kind of thing. So it also allows you to have a lot more vegetables, because when you have, the vegetables are high in fiber, so you deduct the fiber from the carbs. Now you have a nice big salad that you can be have guilt-free enjoyment with. So, and also tracking net carbs, in my opinion, is best for beginners learning this lifestyle. It's a lot more forgiving. It's a lot easier. It's just a great starting point for those new to keto. So total carbs. I found tracking total carbs very restrictive. I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm saying this as, wow, it's eye-opening when you see how much carbs are in everything. I I mean, an egg has a carb. It has like a half of a carb. Some manufacturers round up and put one egg is one carb. Most manufacturers round down and show that eggs have no carbs. So it's funny how you just get your eyes opened when you track this way. So it is very more restrictive. So there's really very little snacking with processed foods, with prepackaged foods. Unless they are pre-planned throughout your day to have those in your macros, it is very no, it's not happening. But it also, veggies that have higher carbs are pretty much knocked out. You know, like I like green peppers. They are higher on the carbohydrate spectrum. But one green pepper is like, bam, that's a lot for you if you don't get to take away any of the fiber. It makes you more aware and more accountable at what you're putting in your body. So I'm not saying this in a negative way. This is actually a really positive thing. It's eye-opening to really learn what's in your food. And then it keeps your foods of what you can have pretty basic. Fat, protein, and very minimal leafy green carbohydrates. Like, it's pretty much a no-brainer. That's all you can have. So it's, in my opinion, being that it's so restrictive and you pretty much need to be aware of what foods have what in them and all that thing, I feel total carbs is better for someone that's familiar with the keto lifestyle, that is fat adapted already, you know, a little bit more at the medium or moderate level of your understanding versus a beginner level. I find that I had to plan my entire week. There was no like leeway. Like, I literally had to plan what I was having with a meal plan and a menu and pre-calculate macros so that everything fits, and you know, and I feel like I'm still enjoying and thriving. So there was a lot more work that was put into making a menu that tracks total carbs versus net carbs. Because again, another thing, I felt like I only could have a lunch with no carbs. Like, I'd have to have eggs and bacon or something like that, or a hamburger, something very just basic for lunch, so that I'd have enough room to have vegetables for dinner. Because I am a fan of green veggies. Like, I don't feel like veggies are a crime. I will say there's a huge assortment of vegetables that you can have, but I'm saying the keto friendly ones I love them, and I can't imagine my diet without them. So I had to make sure I could account for that amount, weigh, measure, and all that stuff to still fit under my 20 total carbs. And one other bonus about tracking total carbs, it is something that really can help hone in on those sugar cravings, the carb cravings, the slippery slope sometimes we get into when we're tracking net carbs, being that it's more forgiving. You start craving things. If you're making keto recipes and keto treats and anything with, even if they're keto approved sweets and treats and all that stuff, I'm saying for me, it makes my sweet tooth start wanting it every meal. So it feels like when you can't have dessert anymore because you're tracking total carbs, you only get 20 total carbs. And even like a fat bomb or a piece of chocolate or something a day is still carbs, you know? So like when you cut all that out, you kind of get out of those habits and you start really feeling the effects of eating so pure and clean. And then the last thing is you're pretty much guaranteed to lose weight or push through a stall, or when you're tracking total carbs and you're being so accountable for your eating, and you're tracking appropriately, you're following the rules, you're pretty much guaranteed to push through that stall that might be making you upset for a couple weeks or something, or you can finally see movement on the scale again. So that's a great tool to have at your resource to get things back on track. So what I love about both total carbs approach and a net carbs approach, it proves that there's more than one way to lose weight on keto. Now, I don't want to discount the fact that I lost 125 pounds tracking net carbs. So it's definitely a way to lose weight. So don't think just because total carbs is more restrictive and all that you can't lose weight. You just have to, there's still a lot of planning involved in both approaches. There's a lot of extra common sense that you've got to sprinkle in there. But it proves that there is more than one way to lose weight on a ketogenic lifestyle. There is no one right answer. It's basically you do you. You know, it's my slogan. You gotta do you, and you have to test it on yourself. And the next one is, what do I don't like about both models? For one, tracking net carbs gives you too much freedom, in my opinion. After seeing the other side, I feel like tracking net carbs gives you too much freedom. On the contrary, having a total carb approach makes me feel guilty for wanting to eat vegetables. You know, so it's like there's plenty of negatives for both sides. So it's like there's got to be a happy medium here. So that's what I'm on to next. What method resulted in more weight loss? Well, when I did the Clean 30 challenge, I felt like that ultimately was like my real blueprint on how to proceed going forward. Tracking net carbs, obviously, I was morbidly obese when I started my journey. I was 309 pounds. The weight came off real easy, tracking net carbs, and I could have all the dairy, the cheese, and all that stuff. As I honed that in and got closer to my goal weight and had significant weight loss, things that I would get away with in the beginning of my journey, I no longer could get away with. So that's why I limit dairy. I limit, you know, cheeses. I limit snacking. I limit a lot of stuff. I would never say that I couldn't have dairy, because I still enjoy my dairy. I just enjoy it in moderation. Once a week is fine. I don't need dairy every day, but it's like you still get to have it. So I found that eating clean in general was actually more beneficial than focusing on tracking total carbs or net carbs. Just eating clean and doing what works best for your body, I feel is where's the secret's gonna actually, where you're gonna find that secret. So what method do I prefer going forward? So I'm, after tracking net carbs and losing 125 pounds, doing the Clean 30 challenge that I put together in June. I'll put a link down below to that challenge. It's a very similar one to the August challenge, except I was tracking net carbs, and it was clean eating. So that meant I limited all the things that really haunt me. I limited those in the Clean 30. And then you had the total carb approach, which was like you take that one and you take it a step farther. And so after putting those three together and having some experience under my belt to talk about this, I've really found that a hybrid model is in the works. Like, I found basically the Clean 30 to be the best approach. And that's because I don't want to ever feel guilty about wanting vegetables. I don't want to have to skip vegetables for lunch just so that I can have room in my macros for them for dinner. If I want a salad for lunch, I want to have a salad and not feel guilty. With that being said, I don't want to make my whole menu for the day on snacks and processed foods and all these other extras that I used to do. So reining that in and making that more focused to feeling your best and eating clean and finding things that work with that seem to be the trick. So going forward, I am going to stay on the total carb approach, but I am bumping it to 30 total carbs. I feel like that's a little bit more understanding of vegetables. And with that being said, that doesn't mean now I get to have all the processed stuff on top of it. No, I still have to limit that stuff. I still have to limit snacking. I still have to limit dairy. All I'm doing is giving a little bit more room for some vegetables, some green veggies, you know, for celery, for the things that I really enjoy eating, and I don't want to feel guilty about it. So instead of going net carb and going total carb, I'm doing 20, I'm going to do 30 total carbs for the month of September, and I'm going to see what happens. So it's essentially, in my opinion, going to be closer to like the Clean 30 challenge, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But my approach going forward is I like to experiment. I like to try new things. I like to see what makes my body really respond and get results. And like I said, I have a DEXA scan in, 2-3 weeks now. On the September 18th, I go get my DEXA scan, which is a 3D body composition scan, which will give me my lean mass, my muscle mass, my bone density, you know, all the visceral fat and all that stuff, and give me an accurate goal weight based off my own numbers. And so I want to continue eating this way so that when I go there, I have a really good a really good result, a really good understanding of where I am in my journey. So, and then maybe how many more pounds or not, you know, will I have left to lose by then. So that's basically my thoughts on the total carb challenge versus the net carb challenge. Please comment below, what did you think? If you are, I'm really interested to see what everybody's thoughts were. It seemed like a lot of people, I was reading comments in previous videos, it is hard. I was ready to not be on the total carb challenge anymore. Like, I was feeling it, but it's a challenge. It teaches you things you can't take away from the positives that it does do. I don't want to sound like it was a horrible thing to do. No, if anything, it was so enlightening when you actually pay attention what's in your food and how it impacts. And so overall, I weighed in this morning. It's not quite, my whole week isn't really up yet. My birthday's on Monday. I went ahead and grabbed a weight just to see where I'm at, and I'm at 183 this morning, which means I started this challenge at 190, but a week later we were on the road traveling back to Texas. So eating out and having Chick-fil-A and, you know, Five Guys on the road where I had French fries, and, you know, it wasn't the best choice, and you know it's processed and all that thing. So I bet, and sitting in a car for 2 days, you know, so I bet my weight actually went up higher. You know, I'm guessing like 194, 183, you know, when you're on the road, I've done it so many times, I know I gain like 3 pounds when I'm traveling. So it probably went up even more, and now it's down to 183. So I bet overall, I bet I dropped 10 solid pounds, but because of the logistics of it, my starting weight was 190. So we're gonna call it a 7-pound loss. When I did the Clean 30 challenge, I lost 8 pounds. So it was pretty neck and neck as for which method really moved it, and it seemed to be that same hybrid model of basically 30 total carbs in a day versus the 20 net. So I hope that makes sense. I would love to hear your results. Comment below, read through. Be sure to leave a comment, because a lot of people read comments and people learn a lot from each other. And if you're not in my Facebook group, that's another great community to learn about this kind of thing. So all links are down below, and I'm excited. I'm going to announce on Monday the official September challenge, because it's not quite September yet, and you're not going to need anything. It's going to be fun. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this. So, and it's something I have not done yet on this channel, and it's going to be fun. So I will see you at the next video. I'm Jess. You're watching Keto Rewind. Bye-bye. Go be great.